Alrighty, so looking at the gearbox again. So in the last video, pretty much decided it was too far gone to rebuild. But after looking at it again and again and again, realised it's only really two gears that are really damaged. So we'll have a look at these ones. So we've got that gear there, which needs to be replaced, and this gear here, which is a part of that gear by the looks of things. That's one gear. And what looks like happened was because this is missing the ball bearings and the springs, so there should be a ball bearing and a spring in there, and there should be one there as well, and one there. And the springs were gone, and so were the ball bearings. So I'm assuming that what's happened is one of the ball bearings have fallen out and managed to land in between here and just ground the fuck out of that gear. Yeah, so if we can just replace that one, get some synchro, I don't know what they're called, but it just comes in a kit. There's three springs and three ball bearings that go into here, and then it pretty much lets this locate and do what it needs to do. So on a good one, so this one still has all the springs and everything, it should pretty much go like that and lock and then spring back like that. And obviously without it, it doesn't do that. So that one's got it as well. So you can see the spring just there, and then there's that plate there, and then there's a ball bearing right in the end there, which you can't really see. So they obviously, when I took the top one off, they all flung out, as you saw. And I got them in a bag. I found all of them but one of the ball bearings. So that ended up in the rocks over there, so that's gone forever. But we have these here. So that's what they look like. Little ball bearings there, and just little springs. So I found all the springs, but found two ball bearings, but not the third one. So they come in a kit. They're about $4 from the UK. So I'm just going to order some of them. Order a couple of bearings as well, and see if I can order that gear, replace that, chuck it all back together. I've tried calling a few transmission places today, and yeah, most people don't want to deal with it. Looks like they deal with automatics, but not manual boxes, which is, yeah, whatever. And Mazfix wants three grand for a new box, and obviously my mate has one that he's going to put aside for me as well, but I know this box is good apart from that one gear and the synchro, so yeah, not sure. So we'll see if we can find that gear and then go from there. Alright, so change of plans. I'm going to pick up a RX8 5-speed gearbox this afternoon. So I managed to get it a little bit cheaper than what it was advertised at. So anyway, apparently the 5-speed is a little bit stronger and it's better suited to the 4 ports because the extra torque in the 4 port is better suited to a 5-speed rather than a 6-speed. And you know, anyway, there's a whole bit of maths around that. Big debates. So I'll be going to get that in about an hour and a half. But for right now, I am taking the wheels off, or the wheel anyway, so I can get to this turbo, so I can replace the coolant line or the coolant lines on the turbo. So I thought, fuck it, I may as well do it, got some time. So we're going to drain the coolant, rip those lines off, replace them, and then tomorrow, hopefully, after work, got some work to do tomorrow, pretty much go pick up the flywheel, the spigot bearing, and the flywheel bolts, because I bought an ARP bolt fucking flywheel mount set, whatever. It's like $100 for them for 6 bolts. It's crazy. And then yeah, we can chuck that flywheel on, make sure the UniClutch adapter fits, make sure the UniClutch goes on, and then put the 5-speed in, put it all back together, and yeah, start driving again. So obviously I haven't taken the engine out. It's been a couple of days, and I thought, fuck it, I really want to get the 5-speed back in, get a dyno done with the Heltec, and see how much power it's making on the 5-speed rather than the 6-speed. And get a baseline before I take the engine out and put the other one in, which is ported and RX7 seals and stuff. Obviously it's going to have a run-in period and everything, but it's going to need to be retuned because of the porting. So yeah, we'll get this turbo off, get the lines done, and go get the gearbox, and then yeah, come back when the gearbox is in. All right, so it's tomorrow now. So we have the new gearbox, nice and clean. New throw bearing on there. Yeah, shift fork. Obviously, new fucking rubber grommet, whatever the hell that is. And yeah, shifter came with everything. Nice. It feels pretty good. Like the gearbox feels nice. Very little input shaft play, and no play in the output shaft. Now, one of the problems was this sensor, the wires are ripped off, so I pretty much just melted the plastic down to little nubby things there. The wires were pretty much cut right there. So it was a tiny little bit of wire sticking out, so I just got the Stanley knife and ground down that, and then melted it down to reseal it, and then soldered some wires on, covered it in some tape, and made this little epoxy bloody brick, and that's giving me that back. So just going to twist them together and then chuck some sheathing over it and put some connectors on, so that'll be, I mean that's reverse, well that's, I don't know, we'll figure that part out later. But the box is ready to go in. I'm still waiting on the flywheel. That should be here hopefully this afternoon or tomorrow. I'm hoping the servo, because then I can get the box in today. But I have done the coolant lines for the turbo. So as you can see, the reason why I did it, that's the original coolant lines, and that's the new coolant lines. So huge difference in size. And all I'm going to do is pretty much cut it right down the end here, right down there. So it's just yay long, and then I've got these to go on, which one will go on to there with the olive, and then that'll give me a barb connection on the other side, which will just go into here and clamp on, fucking whatever. And yeah, so I won't have any leak points through that cable, and that's like a nylon braid or something with a stainless steel braid and then a PTFE underneath it. So I'm glad I got that. That was a pain in the ass. Like that took me a couple of hours to do. So I was regretting doing it, and then once I got into it, I was like, fuck it, the whole turbo's got to come off. Everything's got to come off. The exhaust manifold, I found the exhaust manifold was loose. The turbo was loose. The flange on the turbo that holds the rear housing on, there's like a V-band clamp that goes around it, and that was loose. Yeah, everything was loose. So anyway, it's all tight now. And then those lines definitely made it a bit easier. And I'm also changing the boost control lines to these. So they're quick push lock connectors, or whatever the hell they are. So I can run the, where the hell is it? There it is. Run this line here. So that hard line for the boost control. So I can do that at the same time, since I had it all apart. So yeah, it's all pretty dark down there, but yeah. That little connector right there that you can see it. That's my torch. There we go. And that one right there. So that'll make things a bit easier. I'm tempted to go and use a 90 on it. So instead of it coming straight out this way, put a 90 degree on it. That way I can actually get it from here. But yeah, anyway, whatever. So yeah, we've got to go do some more work, and then hopefully that flywheel comes in, so we can get that in today. Get this box in, we'll get the clutch in, get the box in, get it all back together, and then we'll go from there. So we've got this now. So I've done all of the coolant lines down to the turbo are redone now. So it's all this braid just here. So I've just tied that into this. So you can see -3 Teflon braid to stainless steel to aluminium fitting back to this. So there's only this much of that original thick ass hose. And the other one's just sitting here at the moment. So that one's going to go to the back of the engine down there, which I might do from under the car while the gearbox is off, because that's going to be nice and easy down there. I've also done the boost control lines, so these are now the hard lines. So they've got those push lock connectors on there. they're a little bit of a pain in the ass to work with. Like, you push them in and it doesn't feel like it's done anything, and then all of a sudden it's like, hang on, this is stuck. So anyway, now I've wrapped it in some heat shielding as well, so that's like a aluminium with Kevlar braid in the inside, and that's running down to the wastegate, down, yeah, I can't really see it, I'll grab the torch, to there. So you got those two there, and the one on the front of the turbo, which is that one there. Ooh, it's magnetic. Yeah, so that one there. So that goes on, tees off, goes up, comes up under the battery tray, up under here, which is just there, curls around, is zip tied down here, and then goes that way and goes to the boost control solenoid through to there. So that's, yeah, nice and strong there. That's mounted up with the rubber mount on there. So that's all good. So yeah, she's all good. Yeah, so I'm hopefully, yeah, like I said, hopefully going to get that flywheel today or tomorrow. Otherwise it'll be next week job. But I'm thinking I might go up and work on my mate's car, which is an RX7 FC with an LS2 that I put into it about 10, 12 years ago that he wants finished. So yeah, we might go look at that soon. That will be a separate playlist of videos of everything in between. So yeah, that's, the engine's already in it, the gearbox is in there. We've got to do clutch pedal, radiator, some ECU wiring. Had to modify the cluster for the speedo. We've got to put the tail shaft in. I'm not doing the exhaust on it. I'm getting him to send it off to someone else to do it because I don't want to have to do that shit. Yeah, so we'll see what happens with this flywheel. If it doesn't come, then we'll go up and work on that car. If it does, then we'll work on this one and get the gearbox back in. So we'll see how the rest of the day goes. Alrighty, so we're back from Masfix. So they helped us out with the flywheel. So now we're able to actually get the UniClutch in. So get that out of the way. So yeah, it's just a chrome moly billet flywheel. I think they're all the same from the FC all the way through to the RX8. So anyway, it mounts up, so it's good. And I've got the UniClutch set up. So that was definitely fun. Yeah, all these are Loctited as well, with red Loctite. Yeah, it needs 27mm spacers, so the big one and the next smaller one. So Loctited these spacers into here, and then Loctited this bolt. Those bolts are into the spacer, and they're all torqued to 30 Newton meters. So he's going to go chuck that on the car. I've got another bearing there to replace for the spigot bearing, and then we can chuck the gearbox on. Alright, so we're under the car. Flywheel is on. Well, it's mounted. It's not quite done up, but it's on there. Move some shit out of the way. So, replace the pilot bearing. So, new bearings in there. Didn't worry about a seal. Just got a little bit of lithium moly grease in there for it. It's pressed in about 10mm. So I just got to torque up these bolts for the flywheel, chuck the clutch on, and chuck the gearbox in, and do everything back up. But I'm thinking about putting some more heat shielding on here while I have the room, because yeah, he does get a bit hot on the clutch foot. So yeah, might be a good idea. So we're going to torque these up. Yeah, I just used a bread tool thing for that, and that was a bit fun. Right, so we've got the clutch in, UniClutch in, fits like a glove, that one. A little bit of a pain in the fucking arse though, because you got to put a little tiny spacer behind here because there's a lip in the flywheel. So yeah, you have to kind of like push the washer in, put the bolt in, push it down, and try not to fucking let it slip out and fall down. And then before you do them all up, you got to make sure that the actual washer is on there and not jam behind the flywheel somewhere. So anyway, she's all good. She's all in there. A bit of moly grease on the input shaft. Fucking spline. Some moly grease inside the pilot bearing. All these are done up. So these are like 52 Newton meters of torque, and the flywheel bolts are like 45 foot-pounds or something like that. So yeah, we're gonna chuck the gearbox up, get it mounted in, and get it back on the ground. Alrighty, so she's back running again. Oh Jesus, the light's terrible. Everything worked well. Started first fucking go. just doing some coolant at the moment. So for the funnel out, I haven't used this thing before, so I thought it'd be a good idea to use it. Yeah, things will work alright, but we'll see. Got to put some more coolant in there now. But yeah, low thermostat, sitting at what, 80 degrees. Got to like 78 and just stopped. So yeah. Alright, so we're gonna finish getting the coolant in, put it on the ground, go for a quick drive, and see how it behaves. Hopefully it's all good, but the gearbox sounds good, the clutch feels good, so let's do it. Alright, so we went for a drive last night and everything looked good, so we're going to do some tuning today, because it's definitely running rich as fuck at the moment. I've only dropped down to about 20% ethanol, and yeah, it's running about 15% rich at the moment. So it's going to warm the car up, it's running idling now, and then we're going to look at some flex fuel scaling and see how much we need to pull out for that 20% ethanol content. I really want to get it back to 98 so that I can actually get the base map re-sorted again after the fuel pressure change. So yeah, we're going to go for a bit of driving today. Got to go up to Bribey, take my daughter some horse riding lessons, and we're going to take the RX for that. So try and get the fuel down a bit further than what it was, and get some more 98 in there to try and dilute that E85 out. Once we're back on the base map, we can just make sure that injectors are good and everything else is good before we go back into E85. So let's go for a drive and see what's going on. Decided not to record the screen this time. Too much of a hassle, and it's not really worth watching. Of course, I've got to learn a driver here. Yeah, it definitely feels a lot smoother. Like everything feels smoother. It is a little bit heavier flywheel than I originally had, so that will definitely contribute to a little bit. But overall, like, the clutch feels nice, the gearbox feels nice, everything feels nice. It's a surprise. I must be putting up with some really shit gearbox problems that I didn't realise I had. Feels smooth. Like, the gearbox is tight. It's every gear is tight. Like, you push it into a gear and it feels like it goes into the gear. It's not like what it was before, the 6-speed. It's an entirely different feel anyway. It's actually nice. It feels like an old school JDM car now, without the clunking and grinding and all that kind of shit. So we're still running about 2% rich, but that's fine. That could be VE related. Up top is still very rich. Tell you what, it feels very different. Even just pulling that, it felt very, very different. Obviously it doesn't have that acceleration that the 6-speed has, but it's got a lot longer gear ratio, so it's definitely smoother. I like it. It doesn't feel like it's got like as much pull, but then you look down and you're like, I was just doing 80 k's an hour. What? Yeah, that's 80 again. So we're at 29% ethanol now, so it's diluting back up. So mate. Very, very, very rich. No gearbox noise whatsoever. This is weird. I'm so used to all these noises in the gearbox. I don't hear any of it anymore. It's like, yeah. Like I said, it's an entirely different car, but it's good. It's smooth. Everything feels good. I'm happy with that. A little bit more on the fuel and then we'll be good to go. Alrighty guys, we are back again. So it's been about 2 days now. So it's now Sunday, it's Father's Day, so happy Father's Day to all the dads out there. Now, I found a problem. So the boost control lines coming off of this port. So this is that solid plastic hard line stuff, which is like this shit here. So yeah, good fun stuff. I really don't like it. Now that I've gone to it, I wish I didn't. So these have a, I think I've got a spare one. Fuck, that was hard. So they got like a little collar. It's like the typical waterline stuff you get on your fridges and some shit in the house and stuff like that. But it's made out of metal, not plastic. Now when the line goes in, let me just set this camera up. So the line goes in like that, right? And then it clips in and you think, okay, I've pushed it as hard as I can, it's not going to go any further. And yeah, it comes out. Now, you push it in again and it's like it hits a wall and doesn't go anywhere. Now, that edge needs to be perfect for this to work properly. So we'll try this one. So you push it in, and I'm pushing hard, and it's not going in any further, right? And it's decided to grab that. But you blow into it, and it leaks. Even though it's grabbed it, oh, now it's come off. But yeah, when you're underneath the car and you're trying to do this shit, it just doesn't work very well. So you got to like push it in, twist it a bit, and then push it in more. And the more you push it, the less it leaks. See, now that's not leaking. Now, getting it off is a whole different fucking story. They are an absolute pain in the ass to get off. So when you're in the car and you're working on a hot engine bay, they're a fucking nightmare to get off. But anyway, I think I'm going to go to PTFE lines. So I might go grab some fittings for that tomorrow or the next day or whenever I get time, and switch over to this stuff, the braid. Maybe see if there's, I think this is dash 3. I don't know if they go any smaller than that. But yeah, that'll be fine. I've got the line, I just don't have the fittings. So yeah, anyway. Lesson learned there, because there's a T which comes off of that fitting. So one of these comes down and tees into the main line for the turbo. So the turbo to the wastegate, and then it's blocked, and then there's a T there. The T comes up to the solenoid, comes out of the solenoid and goes straight to the wastegate, to the top of the wastegate, to force the spring down rather than this way to open it. And that T, one of the sides was not in properly. So weirdly enough, I could get 7 PSI perfectly fine. But to get to 10 PSI, I needed 50% duty cycle on the boost controller, where before I only needed about 28%. So I was like, well, something's wrong. The lines were ridiculously longer. They were about 1 meter longer because they were going from the turbo up there, coming up under the battery and then curling around and going this way. So going, well, fuck it. I've cut him in like a quarter, and now they just come straight up and go into the boost controller. Not as pretty, but it's functional, it works. So yeah, that fixed the boost control problem. Now I'm back at 10, 12 PSI, and it is loving it. So I did get a bit of a clutch slip, which I expected that to happen because it's a brand new clutch and it hasn't been bedded in yet. So yeah, we just got to look over that log for a drive that I just did and go over another one and make sure she's all good. Okay, so we are looking at the tune now and the log. So this is just a quick log. I just went and got some dog food. So I went to Pet Barn and yeah, took the RX for that. So yeah, we got the 11.4, 11.5 PSI pull there. Fuel pressure looks really good. So this blue line just here, and the red line just above it. That's the blue line is the expected fuel pressure, and the red line's the actual fuel pressure. So they're looking amazing, like the whole way through. It looks fucking awesome. So we have a look here. So boost obviously climbs. We got blue is the wideband O2, and the yellow is the expected wideband. So a little bit rich on the tip in just there, but as I stab it, it goes very rich, and yeah, very rich. And then second pull though is pretty much bang on, and that'll probably be the first gear pull. Just the evap on the map prediction just pretty much flooded the walls, I guess, and because it just shoots up to red line so quickly, you don't really get a chance to correct much when it comes to first gear pulls. So yeah, try not to do first gear pulls and then tune off of it, because it never really works. It's really second gear to gear fourth gear that you really need to tune off of, because of that exact reason. It's just, it happens so quickly that you can't correct it. Like what is it? There's so that's 11.4 seconds, and that's 12 seconds. So there's a 1 second gap between that and that. So yeah, and then this one here is probably not a hell of a lot better, but yeah, at least it's a bit more load on the engine. So is there any more up here? I didn't do too much of a pull, because I didn't know what was going on. Yeah, that was just a stab. I did notice this though, where little squiggly lines going on here. So you see that it's up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. It's on all of it. So that's, injector duties going up and down, AFR's going up and down, RPM, manifold pressures all going up and down. And that was just after it returned to idle and it bounced. So what I've done is I've changed a bit of the idle control follower and target. So I've just added a bit more down the bottom here, and a bit more decay onto the follower. So instead of being 0.5 of a second at 1000 RPM, it's going to be almost a second, and just increased it the whole way through. And this was all 0 originally. So 0% pedal, there was really no follower there. So I've just added a bit of follower just to see if we can smooth that issue out. And I've also gone into the map prediction. So in the last video I did on tuning this, I made a mistake. I didn't know that this was automatic, because this here, long-term predicted map learning. So you don't really need to adjust this, it does it itself for you. But the problem is if your scaling's wrong and your pooling and your evap times are wrong, then this is going to be wrong anyway. So it's really going to try and correct issues in your tune, and then potentially make the problem worse. So so this, you can set it to what you think might be right, but it's going to change it anyway. And yeah, for whatever time is in here is how quickly it learns. So the biggest thing is making sure your film pooling percentage is correct. So generally speaking, when you're at idle at operating temperature, you just put on the throttle a little bit and see how it responds, and then add some pooling or take some pooling away. And same with the evap time. So the evap time is just how long it takes for the fuel film on the intake wall to evaporate or to be used up. So this is really specific to every engine. You really need to tweak this to suit you. Obviously, if you have a high mount turbo, this is probably going to be a lot more, because it's going to evaporate a lot quicker because of how hot the intake temperature is. But anyway, you'll figure that part out. And yeah, I just added a little bit more duty cycle to 12 PSI, mainly because in these pools, you can see here 11.4, 11.6, 11, 10, 9, 10, 7. So I just added an extra 2% through this cell here. So try and keep that the boost level up at 12 PSI. So we're just going to go for a drive, give this a try, and see what happens, see if it responds all right. and then yeah, we'll go from there. Whoa, Jesus, that took off and went. Still got a little bit of a bounce going on there, but nothing too major. Corrects pretty quickly. We're still at 29% ethanol, so we're safe to do about 15 PSI on a pull, but let's see what happens. A little bit lean there. So engine light came on, wanted me to stop. Fuck, that feels good though, holy shit. That pulls fucking hard, Jesus Christ. Looks like we need a little bit more fuel. Gears, the 5-speed gearbox is so much better. Like, you get so much more out of your gears. That's so fucking good. So yeah, 6-speed was like change. Oh, get back, change, get back. Where this is just like I can cruise in fourth or third, and it's just, it doesn't care. Fuck, that sounds good. Jesus, that fucking pulls hard. Holy shit. That caught me by surprise. AFR is definitely looking a bit better at top now. How did I lose connection to the ECU? What the fuck? The laptop literally just dropped out. What the fuck? More fuel, and I think we'll be sweet. That'll be 12 PSI sorted by the looks of that. Wow, that goes hard. That is surprising, the difference. Obviously the clutch was slipping in the last time. Last time that I tried doing 12 PSI and it felt good then, and this just feels fucking insane compared to what it was on 7 PSI. Once you get to about 5 grand, it just takes off. Gearbox feels fucking beautiful, clutch feels beautiful, power feels beautiful, everything feels good. It's only 11.1 PSI, so it's a little bit more duty cycle, but yeah, and maybe about an extra 1 or 2% fuel, which is feeling good. Everything feels fucking great. This is awesome. Oh, this is so good. Something's gonna break soon. It's feeling too good for it to be to be considered constant. Fucking hell. Even the stability of the car feels great. Like it just feels good. Okay, so we're looking at the log from that first half of that video, the previous video, before the laptop dropped out, which pretty much gives us this here, which is first, second, and third. No, not that one. Where'd it go? What was that one? Maybe, oh, it was that one. Yes, so first, second, and third pull. So we have essentially it coming up, spiking to 13 PSI, and then dropping down. Yeah, this is what happens when you put your foot down in first gear. Second gear, we've got 11, 11.2, 11.4, 11.6. And then third gear, 11.4, 11.5, 11, 11.2, 11.3, 11.4. So yeah, I need a little bit more duty cycle in the boost controller to get it up to 12. I might need to lower the boost control offset though for first gear because it spikes a little bit too harsh. Now, have a look at this. This is awesome. The fuel pressure is a little bit higher than the expected fuel pressure, which, yeah, obviously right there is a little bit higher there, and it went real rich, went down to 7.1 AFR. So yeah, first gear for you. Anyway, second gear is pretty much spot on. Fuel pressure started to creep up at the end. No, went down a little bit. So 53.6 PSI versus 55 PSI. AFR was relatively stable, a little bit of a lean spot there. It's 0.5 of an AFR out. And then third gear, we have fuel pressure and everything pretty much spot on there. AFRs though, this is when the engine light came on to warn me to say the AFR was a little bit out. So my expected AFR versus my actual AFR was too far out, and it warned me and flashed the check engine light to say stop. So one beautiful thing about the Heltec is that I've got it set up to go if the AFR being reported is 0.5 of a point of AFR leaner than the target, then flash engine light. If I continue to pull, then it goes into a protection mode where it richens up the entire table by 0.5 of an AFR, just to stop me from doing stupid shit if I don't see it. So yeah, so right there you can see just above the target there. So we saw 12.1 instead of 11.3, and then it went to 12 and stayed there, and that's when I let off. So a little bit more fuel needed just there. but otherwise it was good. And yeah, a couple more pulls there. So yeah, we need a little bit more duty cycle on the boost controller, bring that boost up, and a little bit more VE in those areas to richen up here. See, now this then creates a problem with, okay, so we're going to richen up this area. This area is going to get even richer, which will cause a problem. So I need to correct this as well as this. But I'm more focused on this at the moment because it's not very often you're going to stamp your foot in first gear. Like, you're just going to get wheel spin and go nowhere anyway. It's good fun, but it's not something you do all the time. So yeah, I think I'll just add, you know, I have to calculate what that is, but it's probably very, very minimal. It'll be like maybe 2%. Additional fuel here, which will also correct this. Yeah, need to look at and see what's going on here, why that fuel pressure dropped a little bit. It's like 1.5 PSI difference between what I was expecting versus what it actually was. Yeah, but everywhere else it's spot on. It's just later on in the pulls. Yeah, not sure yet. I'll have to have a look at that and see what's causing it. But you know, trying to enrich in most parts, so a little bit more VE and we'll be good. And then yeah, it should be able to go back to 98 octane within the next day or two. I'm already down to half a tank. Got about 150 Ks, so I get about 300 Ks out of a tank at the moment, and that's on E30 fuel, flex fuel, which is pretty good. So we'll go back to 98, drop the boost back down to 9 PSI, just so it's safe, and then just fine tune the injectors and the VE, and then start working on the scaler again for flex fuel, just to get that good. So it doesn't matter what percentage of ethanol I have, I don't have to go in and adjust shit later. It's all going to be good. So we'll leave that there and move on to the next phase. All right, so we're back at home. Now, as you can tell, car's performing fucking amazingly. Everything's going really well. I almost fucking tripped over on my fucking jack stands on the ground. Jesus Christ. Yeah, power is fucking, it's a hell of a lot better than what it was. Like, it pulls hard. It's actually surprising how much difference it makes. So yeah, I think a couple more days tuning, and I'm gonna arrange to get the dyno done to get a benchmark on low and high boost. But I might fill it back up with a bit more E85 to get that ethanol content back up to E40, just for the dyno pool. And then we'll look at getting the new engine in. So the rotors will be here tomorrow. So Andrew John down in Sydney slotted those rotors for me, and the corner seals, or the corner seal plugs, so that it'll accept the RX8 apex seals. And then yeah, we've got to do the porting on the new irons and get it all together and get it into the car. Then we can work on the red one for the wife. So that's still sitting, unfortunately, it's sitting outside now. So it's just sitting on the grass. But yeah, I'm glad I waited for the engine to come out of the black one first, because I really want to see the difference that the engine has between the 4-port non-ported, just completely standard engine. Like, this engine is entirely standard on the inside anyway. It was rebuilt about 9 months ago. No, it's actually about a year ago now. And it's entirely OEM seals. Everything's OEM. There is nothing aftermarket on the inside of the engine. So it's holding up really well for 12 PSI. Touch wood. Next video will be me blowing it up. But yeah, no, it's going good. So essentially, we're going to build that new engine up, do the porting. So I got the Bridgeport template. So like, yay, but we're not going to do this bridge. We're going to do everything else. Yeah, this self-explanatory. So that'll give a shitload more flow, because the 4-port engine, the exhaust port is smaller than the 6-port, and obviously there's only one intake port on each side of the iron, versus on the 6-port where it's got the APV at the top and the big port that comes up. So that's why the 6-port makes a lot more power when it's turboed, when there's nothing done to it. So a lot of people say, you know, you're running 10 PSI, why are you only getting 300 horsepower? It's like, well, you look at the 4-port and you look at the irons. I'll do a video on that when I'm up to that point. The ports are just so much smaller. So on a 6-port, you don't really need to take the engine apart to get the power out of it. But you sacrifice all your low end torque and mid-range torque. Where the 4-port just has shitloads of torque the entire way through. You capped at that power level until you do ports. And then when you do ports, you lose a little bit of drivability, but you get a shitload more power. So anyway, so we're going to do that in the next video. Hopefully the next video anyway. So do the porting, get the engine together, take the engine out of this, put it into the red one, put the new one into here, get this run in, get the other one registered, get the wife driving it, and then yeah, see what happens after that point. So anyway, yeah, follow along for that one. But yeah, if you haven't already, like and subscribe. Obviously, if you actually enjoy this content. If not, then obviously it's not for you. But yeah, we'll see how we go. All right, see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.